Good day and welcome to Teddy Talks to Parents, where expert advice meets everyday parenting. In this dedicated episode to Child Protection Week, we dive into the practical tips for parents on how to safeguard their children's emotional well-being. We will also explore strategies to help children learn to protect themselves and foster a sense of awareness and resilience from a young age. To guide us on our mission today, we are joined by Janette Hermann, a forensic social worker here at the Teddy Bear Foundation. Good day, Janette, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, our focus this year for Child Protection Week is the mental health of children. So we know that many factors can impact a child's mental health, from their parents to the world around them to school, etc., etc. And very often teenagers are the ones struggling most to grapple with the world around them. So we also know that persons with mental health issues can be impacted in almost every aspect of their lives. It can play out in almost every facet. So why don't we start there? Why is mental health so important, and what happens to persons or children who are struggling with their mental health?
Okay, so mental health is crucial because it affects every aspect of a person's life. So this includes our emotional well-being, our relationships, and as well as our daily functioning. So when someone struggles with their mental health, they may experience difficulties in managing their emotions, maintaining relationships, performing at work or at school, and overall the quality of life. So this can lead to increased stress, anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues.
Okay, so when we look at children, firstly, they really struggle to grapple with the world going on around them. I think very often they're quite selfish, or we interpret them as being selfish because it's easier just to be focused on kind of what's in front of you. So kind of with that in mind, making or helping children then to deal with mental health issues when to even comprehend where they come from is almost impossible. So in your experience, how do mental health issues manifest in children? How can we visualize them? How do we see them?
Okay, so in children, mental health issues can manifest in changes in their behavior, mood, and performances, like at school performances. And they might exhibit symptoms such as irritability, withdrawal from social activities, changes in sleep or appetite, difficulties in concentrating, and unexplained physical complaints. Like with younger children, they tend to complain about stomach aches or not wanting to go to school. They're feeling very ill. Okay, and in younger children might regress to earlier developmental stages or have increased clinginess, while older children and teenagers might engage in risky behaviors or show a decline in academic performances. So this is as well where teenagers might start to steal from friends and family, or also where substance misusers come in as well.
Okay, I do definitely want to touch on the substance issue, but for the time being, how can parents support their children then? Firstly, you've just pointed out what it kind of looks like for a child who's experiencing issues like this. But then what is the parent's role? How can they support their child? How can they get the necessary support from outside? What do parents need to do in these situations?
So parents can support their children by creating a safe and open environment for the children to express their feelings. It is important to listen actively, validate the children's emotions, and provide reassurance to the children. And also, seeking professional help from a counselor or a therapist is also very crucial. Additionally, maintaining routines, encouraging healthy habits like regular physical activity and proper sleep patterns, and staying involved in your child's life can significantly help a child.
Okay, so we understand that firstly mental health is severely stigmatized in our society, and especially with older generations. I think they've very often, it's easier to just kind of deny these sorts of things. So then what can we do as parents to ensure that our children don't kind of embody these problematic practices that us as parents very often embody? How can we ensure that the next generation doesn't suffer like we do and embraces the fact that we have this side to ourselves and we need to nurture it and care for it?
So mental health is stigmatized due to a lack of understanding, cultural beliefs, and fear of the unknown. So to ensure children don't internalize these issues, parents can educate them about mental health from an early age, model healthy coping strategies, and talk openly about mental health issues in a non-judgmental manner. And also to encouraging empathy and teaching children that seeking help is a sign of strength and can also reduce the stigma.
So would you say that to kind of achieve that, realistically, we need parents to start embodying those very things?
Correct. Because a child, like the term they use, monkey see, monkey do. So when a child sees a parent maintaining a certain behavior, it's being copied from to the child as well.
So would you say that children interpret their parents' behavior as kind of the norm, as the standard of what they should expect from the world, and just generally how they interact with people around them?
Yes, because that is what the child is seeing most of the time as well. So definitely that is what's happening.
Okay. And then let's go into more specific kind of examples of what might impact a child's mental health. So, I mean, we all know alcohol and mental health don't have the best relationship, even if we're dealing with adults. But what impact does that have on a child? So let's not talk about children kind of abusing substances, but let's rather speak about parents abusing substances in front of their children. What does that relationship look like? How do children interpret that? And is there a change? Do they see that change in their parents?
So based on my experience in the field of social work, as well as doing several assessments on children, and all of the information that I've gathered from children is they definitely see a change in parents' behavior. They internalize that changed behavior. And what sometimes happen is, if I'm going to give you an example, the parents are having a get-together with their friends, and they start to drink. The children do notice a change in the parents' behavior and the parents' reaction to if the child shows a certain need to the parent or they want some attention, then there is a shift in the parental behavior. So that is where children tend to see, okay, I'm showing the parent that I have this certain need that needs to be met, and now the parent is not able to meet that need. They are showing me a different type of behavior, which in the same scenario, children we call it walk on eggshells around the parent, and now that manifests in the child's brain, right, about how the parent is reacting. So now when next time the parents have a braai, now the child would start being more anxious when friends come over. How will the parent react when I do this? Now the child, and this is the same for a 5-year-old. Like now the child needs to manage his behavior or his reactions towards the parents, and which is not okay.
No, absolutely. So would you then interpret that child's anxiety in that moment as them almost feeling accountable for something, that they've done something wrong?
Correct. Yes.
Even though maybe they necessarily haven't. So that whole dynamic changes. The parents, maybe they're now focusing more on their friends and they don't have as much time for their children. So how can we help parents with that? I mean, I think realistically to say all parents shouldn't drink is probably not going to work.
No.
So how can we begin to help parents internalize that change so that when the moment presents itself, they realize that, oh no, maybe I need to take a step back. Maybe I need to look at my child. They obviously have noticed a change in me. And how can I ensure that as much as I want to spend time with my friends, my child doesn't feel like they're being punished for something?
Yeah, so what I would suggest is for you as a parent, go and educate yourself about what alcohol actually does to the body, what it does, and how it changes you as a person. And then to take a look at how you can act differently if you decide, because I mean, it's still your choice. We can't force parents not to drink. So it is still your choice on what you want to embody to your child. What is the message you want to give to your child? So if you decide to, okay, let me read up on this, let me go and see what is the actual impact on my child. Make the right decisions, because your child is the most important person.
Absolutely. And I think that's the one thing is often parents, you feel like, oh, finally I get a time to let my hair down and just relax. But I think that's one thing parents don't realize is that it's a job you sign up 24/7 all day, every day.
Correct.
It's not something that, you can pass off. And as much as it's not kind of intentional, it doesn't matter, because this is how your child's interpreting it.
Correct.
And they can't be punished for things that they're not even involved in or don't even understand.
Exactly. I mean, the child's brain is still developing, and even at the age of 5 years old or younger or even older, their brains are still developing. And for them to have now they go into a fight or flight or freeze mode, which is now you're causing a trauma reaction for the child.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, we all know that alcohol affects us as adults in many various ways, from rotting our liver to the more obvious kind of reactions. But we're starting to see a horrible trend of young children drinking. It's happening often. You see it all the time on the news. And as much as we know the kind of biological problems that come with drinking, what are the kind of more socioeconomic and psychological issues that arise for children who dabble in substance abuse or even get addicted to these sorts of things? What does mental health look like for them?
So as adults, when they misuse substances, right, this is where a lot of the time we call it the toxic trio, where mental health issues forms part of it, which is the result of substance misuse, and then also domestic violence or gender-based violence that occur. So that is what's going to happen if you misuse substance. There's either a connection of mental health disorders or gender-based violence or domestic violence. So, and it's the same with a child, right? So now there's increased chances of mental health disorders when a child misuses substances, because their brain is still developing. Their brains are still developing. For men, it's until the age of 25. So that's quite scary to think of, that your brain is still developing, and now you are misusing substances that has an impact on your developing your brain.
Well, that's astounding, because I mean, I look at university culture, who are mostly 19, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds. That's slightly terrifying, to be honest.
No, it definitely is, eh? And I think for parents that shows children, it's okay to have a good time, it's okay to drink. It's inevitable that they are going to start drinking at a very young age, because that is, like I said earlier, monkey see, monkey do.
Absolutely. And in a household where liquor's available, you have your cabinet there. I mean, yeah, it's even happened in my family, in my own upbringing, where family members have been wrapped up in these sorts of things and made poor decisions.
They do. Because you're not all there. You can't make rational decisions when you are misusing substances. And this includes like all types of substances. Alcohol is a substance. Weed is a substance.
No, absolutely.
So,
And they all chemically change your brain or alter your reality.
Correct. And that is where the changed behavior comes from, which your child now needs to internalize.
Absolutely. Well, I think that would be a good point for us to end off today. Just as a last message to parents, you may have grown up not fully understanding the ramifications of mental health. And your parents maybe taught you to be strong and hard, and that, men don't feel things and that's reserved for women, or whatever other nonsense they're spewing out there. But at the end of the day, your mental health informs every aspect of your life. It informs how you perform your job. It informs how you interact with your family, interact with your children. And more than that, it even impacts your physical health. People develop horrifying conditions because of mental health. Anxiety disorders can turn into long-term medical issues. So protect yourself, South Africa, and protect your children. They need you more than anything. A big thank you to Janette for helping us today and explaining all these sorts of questions we may have. Find us next week for more helpful tips and suggestions from your trusted experts. Teddy Talks to Parents is proudly produced by the Teddy Bear Foundation, where children go on their journey to healing. Thank you very much, and see you all next week.